Now we turn to the Maldives. It's a South Asian nation located in the Indian Ocean. It is Asia's smallest country, but with one big problem, and that is debt. The Maldivian economy is in debt distress. It took too many loans and now it's struggling to pay them back. One repayment is due next month, a repayment of some $25 million. This money is due to bondholders, people who bought Islamic Sukuk bonds issued by the Maldivian government. But Malé may not be able to repay this $25 million because it lacks the dollars. At present, the Maldives has about $444 million in foreign exchange reserves. That sounds like a decent amount, but only $61 million out of this are usable. And that money is for essential imports for the next month. So you can see why the Maldives is in dire straits. It needs a bailout, and it needs it fast, which is why Malé is looking at an old friend for help, and that friend is India. Ties between India and the Maldives have been frosty recently because of the Maldivian President Mohamed Muizzu. He came to power last November on the wings of an India Out campaign. He basically tried to paint India as an aggressor in his country, India had troops in the Maldives, and Muizzu tried to say that India is using them to influence his country. There were Indian troops in the Maldives, but they were there to help in rescue and relief operations. That did not matter to Muizzu, who used their presence to stoke anti-India sentiments, and his ploy worked. He won the presidency last November. His party swept the parliamentary elections in April this year, and he used this control to oust the Indian troops. Muizzu's power play came at a cost, though. It soured decades-old Indo-Maldivian ties, and now Muizzu wants India to forgive and forget and bail his country out of a jam. Malé needs money, and it needs it immediately. They need to pay back the $25 million next month, $600 million next year, and then $1 billion in 2026. Remember, right now they have just $61 million in usable foreign exchange. So they're looking to pad up their reserves with some help from New Delhi. There are two Indian instruments that the Maldives can use. One is a currency swap program by the Reserve Bank of India, or the RBI, that's India's central bank. This program will allow the Maldives to access up to $400 million immediately. India had introduced this program back in 2012 to help out its neighbors, and the Maldives is desperate to use it now. That is one option that they have. The other is a straightforward loan. In 2019, India had extended an $800 million line of credit to the Maldives. This was extended to the previous government, but New Delhi has not withdrawn it, despite all of Muizzu's provocations. And now that he's in trouble, Muizzu wants to avail of this old credit. The Maldivian president is headed to India reportedly sometime this week. Debt relief will be at the top of his agenda, and India has shown its willingness to help. This isn't just about being a good friend and neighbor. New Delhi also has another reason to extend a hand. It needs to keep Beijing at bay. On Friday, the Maldives signed a deal with China to strengthen trade and investment and settle current account transactions in local currencies. Basically, China threw the Maldives a lifeline. And now India will too. Muizzu might be playing both sides, but India cannot just quit the game. The Maldives will be there long after Muizzu leaves. And New Delhi needs to make sure that the country doesn't become a Chinese outpost. It needs to ensure that the country isn't used against India. So that means playing along for now. But hopefully India's actions will also strike a chord and remind the Maldives who its true friends really are.